There is a photograph on newsstands right now that stops people mid-stride. It is Lisa, born Lalisa Manoban from Buriram, Thailand, standing in the Mojave Desert light wearing a towering laurel DeWitt headpiece and white feathered wings that cascade around her body like the plumage of something mythological. The image is theatrical. It is deliberate. And it is sitting on the cover of Vanity Fair. Not a fashion magazine, not a K-pop publication, not a regional entertainment title with an international edition. Vanity Fair. The magazine that for over a century has served as the definitive arbiter of who, in any given cultural moment, truly matters. The magazine whose covers have featured presidents and Nobel laureates and the biggest names in Hollywood history. The magazine that does not chase the moment. It declares it. So the question worth sitting with is this. How did a girl from a small Thai province who spent her teenage years in a Seoul practice room, learning to speak in 3 languages while perfecting choreography that most dancers wouldn't attempt, end up here, at the center of American prestige media's most closely watched stage? 1. Title bridge. That is exactly what this video is going to answer. We're taking you inside the Lisa Blackpink Vanity Fair cover, the cover story behind it, and the Las Vegas residency that's making history. And by the end, you'll understand why this particular moment is unlike anything that has come before. 2. Who is Lisa? For the uninitiated, she was born Pranpriya Mabal on March 2007, 1997, in Buriram, a province in northeastern Thailand more commonly associated with traditional dance and Muay Thai training camps than global pop stardom. From the age of 4, she was dancing. Not casually, not recreationally, with the total commitment of someone who could not imagine doing anything else. By the time she was 13, she had traveled to South Korea to audition for YG Entertainment, one of the most selective and powerful labels in the K-pop industry. She was accepted. She began training. And then she waited. Years of preparation during which she refined her dance technique, developed her vocal ability, and learned to perform with the kind of precision and physicality that would eventually set her apart from almost everyone in her generation. She debuted officially as a member of Blackpink on August 8, 2016. The group's first singles, Whistle and Boom Baya, were immediate hits, charting instantaneously across multiple platforms. But it was Lisa, as the group's main dancer and lead rapper, who generated a particular kind of global fascination. She was technically extraordinary. She was magnetic in a way that translated across languages and cultures. And she was, by almost every observable metric, the member of Blackpink who most captured the imagination of audiences outside South Korea. When she launched her solo career in 2021, the numbers were staggering. Her single, Lalisa, became the most viewed YouTube music video by a solo female artist in the first 24 hours, pulling more than 73 million views. Her accompanying mini-album sold over 736,000 copies in its first week, a record for a female soloist in South Korean chart history at the time. A B-side track called Money then took on a second life of its own, charting in over 40 countries and entering the top 10% of the Billboard Global 200 through viral momentum that no label could have planned. In February 2025, she released Alter Ego, her first full-length solo album. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Top Album Sales chart and landed at number 7 on the Billboard 200, a genuinely historic result for an Asian solo artist in the United States. She made her acting debut in the same season, appearing as Mook in the 3rd Emmy-nominated season of HBO's The White Lotus. She debuted solo at Coachella in April 2026, to what observers described as one of the festival's most discussed headline sets in years. She performed at the FIFA World Cup 2026 opening ceremony in Los Angeles, reportedly the first female K-pop artist and first Thai artist to do so. By any measurement, Lisa Blackpink 2026 is a story about someone who has not so much arrived as detonated. 3. Vanity Fair. Why this cover matters. To understand the full significance of the Lisa Blackpink Vanity Fair cover, you first have to understand what Vanity Fair actually represents, because its cultural position is genuinely unusual, and not everyone outside the United States fully appreciates what landing on its cover means. The modern Vanity Fair, the one that matters in this context, was relaunched by Condé Nast in 1983 after an earlier incarnation that had flourished during the Jazz Age and then folded during the Great Depression. Its revival, under editors including Tina Brown and later Graydon Carter, turned it into something specific and irreplaceable in American media, a magazine that operated at the inter of Hollywood, political power, investigative journalism, and cultural commentary. It was not fashion. It was not gossip. It was prestige. It ran profiles of presidents, and it ran profiles of movie stars. and it treated both with the same seriousness. Carter's tenure, which lasted from 1992 to 2017, gave the magazine its most indelible institutions: the annual Hollywood issue, the Vanity Fair Oscar party, the Proust questionnaire. He built a magazine that the entertainment industry could not ignore, because appearing in it meant something beyond visibility. It meant cultural legitimacy. That legacy has carried forward. Vanity Fair covers are not given to artists who are merely popular. They are extended to figures who have crossed some invisible threshold, from cultural participant to cultural force. The names who have appeared on that cover over the decades are, in aggregate, a record of who American culture decided to take seriously at any given moment. Which is precisely why a K-pop artist appearing on that cover, a Thai artist, a woman from Southeast Asia in the summer 2026 issue, is not just a celebrity story. It is a statement about where American prestige media's frame of reference has arrived. Lisa does not appear on this cover as a novelty or as a token gesture toward international pop culture. She appears on it as someone the magazine's current editorial director, Mark Guiducci, evidently decided was one of the defining entertainment figures of this particular moment. That judgment is itself the story. And that story is worth taking seriously. 4. The photo shoot and editorial, what we saw the cover shoot itself, photographed by Ethan James Green outside Los Angeles and styled by Dara, is a masterclass in using a photographic setting as conceptual argument. Ethan James Green is not a photographer who works in glamour for its own sake. His work is known for its intimacy and its psychological honesty, an ability to find something real in the person across the lens even when they are dressed in extraordinary circumstances. The choice to shoot outside Los Angeles rather than in a studio was significant. The desert light, flat, unsparing, golden at the edges, strips away the artificiality that urban backdrops tend to provide. There is nowhere to hide in that kind of light. And Lisa, dressed in custom House of Gila attire with Gianvito Rossi heels and Bulgari jewelry, does not hide. The cover image itself positions her as something between a showgirl and a mythological figure. The towering headpiece from New York vintage, referencing the great Las Vegas showgirl tradition that predates most pop music, gives the image its architectural drama. The Laurel DeWitt wings that cascade around her body create a barely there effect that is simultaneously maximalist and precise. There is no carelessness in the composition. Every element justifies itself. The interior editorial carries its own editorial gravitas, moving between a skin-toned burlesque-inspired bodysuit with deliberate semi-sheer embellishment and a dramatic overskirt that reads as Old Hollywood, refracted through a contemporary lens, and the more maximalist feather and wing confections of the cover image. What ties the looks together across the pages is not the clothes themselves, but the quality of Lisa's presence in them. Controlled, purposeful. A performer who understands exactly the difference between being looked at and being seen. The cover story is titled, The Life of a K-Pop Showgirl. It is a title that works on multiple levels, nodding to Las Vegas, to theatrical performance, to the constructed and spectacular nature of global pop stardom, and perhaps, most interestingly, to the personal interiority that exists beneath all of it. 5. The interview inside the issue, Her Words, Her World. The feature, by all accounts, is not a standard celebrity profile. It does not traffic in career timelines and promotional talking points. It attempts, with apparent seriousness, to locate the human being who exists on the other side of one of the most heavily curated public personas in contemporary entertainment. In the interview, Lisa speaks openly about the experience of acting, specifically what it means for her to inhabit a character and the process of finding herself within that character rather than disappearing into it. As Lisa delves into her expanding acting career, she conveys the sense that performance, for her, is not about transformation in the way that the word is often used. It is not about becoming someone else. It is about excavation, finding the parts of yourself that connect to the role and amplifying them. "I'm not trying to pretend that I'm someone else," she told Vanity Fair. "It's just me, plus a little more confidence." That sentence, "just me plus a little more confidence," says a great deal about how Lisa understands her own artistry. It suggests a performer who does not experience the stage as an escape from identity, but as a refinement of it. The costume, the choreography, the spectacle, these are not disguises. They are lenses. The feature also touches on the less comfortable dimensions of global fame. According to the published piece, Lisa speaks candidly about her experiences with obsessive fans, the so-called sasaying phenomenon that affects K-pop artists with a particular intensity. She recounts specific incidents with evident directness, including an incident involving someone who had gained access to her home and another involving her transportation. These are not anecdotes offered to generate sympathy. They are offered, it appears, as part of a broader account of what it costs to live the life she lives, and what she has chosen to protect. The feature makes clear that Lisa's personal life remains, firmly and deliberately, her own. Her team set explicit parameters around the interview, and she honored them. What the feature does capture, however, is the quality of her thinking. Someone who has reflected deeply on what she does, why she does it, and what she wants the next chapter to look like. The Vanity Fair interview reveals that she has been working on a sophomore solo album in the early stages, a project she has described as being in the exploratory recording phase, intended to support and extend the experience she wants audiences to have when they come to see her live. That future was already taking shape, and it was taking shape in the most storied venue in Las Vegas entertainment history. 6. Building toward Vegas, the Residency announcement. The announcement came on March 30th, 2026. And it was, by any reasonable measure, a watershed moment. Lisa, to use the all-caps stylization she performs under, would be bringing her first-ever Las Vegas residency to the Colosseum at Caesars Palace. 4 shows across 2 weekends in November 2026, the 13th, 14th, 27th, and 28th. The show would be called Viva La Lisa, and according to the official announcement, it would make her the first K-pop artist in history to hold a Las Vegas residency. To understand what that means, it helps to understand what a Las Vegas residency actually represents in the architecture of an entertainment career. Vegas residencies are not tours. They are not promotional runs. They are not the kind of thing you do early in a career to build an audience. They are, historically, the thing you do when you have already built an audience so devoted that they will travel to you, to a fixed location, on your schedule, on your terms. The residency format was essentially invented in its modern form by Celine Dion, whose run at the Colosseum at Caesars Palace from 2003 to 2007 redefined what a concert experience could be in terms of production scale and artistic ambition. Britney Spears' residency at Planet Hollywood helped reframe a difficult career chapter as a triumphant one. Bruno Mars settled into Las Vegas and created a template for how a younger generation of artists could inhabit the format. Adele's residency became one of the most discussed live events of the 2020s. These are not merely shows. They are events, in the original sense of that word, things that you will talk about for the rest of your life. The Colosseum at Caesars Palace holds 4,300 people. It is described in industry circles as simultaneously the most intimate and the most prestigious concert venue in Las Vegas. The artists who have performed there, whose names appear alongside Lisa's in the current booking roster, include Kelly Clarkson, Jennifer Lopez, Dolly Parton, and Rod Stewart. That is the room. That is the company. And when tickets for Viva La Lisa went on sale in April 2026, they sold out within 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 7. What a Lisa Vegas show could look like. The official production details of Viva La Lisa have not been fully disclosed ahead of the November opening nights. But fans and concert industry observers have spent months imagining what the production might look and feel like. And given what Lisa has demonstrated in her live career to date, those imaginings are well informed. Those who have seen Lisa perform live, across her work with Blackpink and in her solo outings, consistently describe the same thing: an artist for whom the visual and the physical are as central to the work as the music itself. She is, by most accounts, one of the most technically accomplished dancers in popular music today, capable of executing intricate, high-difficulty choreography at full performance energy while simultaneously delivering live vocals with precision and presence. The stage is not a place she occupies. It is a place she inhabits completely. The scale that a Las Vegas residency enables, the fixed set design, the bespoke lighting infrastructure, the production elements that can be built, specifically for a single venue over multiple performances, could, fans have imagined, allow Lisa to build something that no touring concert could accommodate. The visual world of her alter ego album, which played with ideas of multiple selves, alternate personas, the fracturing and refraction of identity, offers rich material for a production that leans fully into theatrical spectacle. Concert production observers have noted that the Colosseum's intimate size relative to its technical capacity creates a particular kind of experiential intensity. At 4,300 seats, no one in the room is far from the stage. The experience, those who know the venue suggest, is defined by the sense that you are genuinely inside the performance rather than watching it from a distance. For an artist whose entire aesthetic vocabulary is built on precision and control, the opportunity to build a fixed environment where every element is designed to serve that. Precision, the sightlines, the sound calibration, the staging architecture, represents something qualitatively different from even the most ambitious touring production. The show's title, Viva La Lisa, suggests an artist who understands Las Vegas not as a compromise, but as a canvas. And the cover story that preceded the shows, the showgirl imagery, the desert setting, the explicit dialogue between K-pop performance and the long tradition of Las Vegas theatrical spectacle, reads less like a coincidence and more like a considered opening statement. This cover, these images, this particular framing, they are the announcement of a vision. November cannot come quickly enough. 8. The cultural shift, K-pop breaks the Western ceiling. The Lisa Blackpink Vanity Fair cover and the Viva La Lisa Residency are significant on their own terms. But they are also part of a pattern that has been building for years, and that is now, in 2026, impossible to overlook. K-pop, the genre, the industry, the cultural phenomenon, began making serious inroads into Western entertainment more than a decade ago. What has changed is not the quality of the art or the intensity of the global fan base, both of which were always there. What has changed is the willingness of Western institutions, the kind that have historically served as gatekeepers for what counts as culturally serious, to extend their frameworks to include it. A Vanity Fair cover is not given to someone because they have a devoted audience. It is given to someone because the institution deciding to place them on its cover is making a public statement about where culture is going. When Lisa appears on that cover, in an editorial framed explicitly around Las Vegas, acting, and the expansion of her American entertainment presence, Vanity Fair is effectively saying, this person is no longer a story happening elsewhere that we are covering. She is a story that is happening here. What is worth noting is how this shift has been accompanied by genuine artistic evolution on the part of the artists driving it. The presence of K-pop in Western prestige spaces is not happening because K-pop artists have changed themselves to fit Western expectations. It is happening, in Lisa's case, unmistakably, because Western institutions have begun to recognize that the frame was too narrow all along. The Thai dance positions woven into a Met Gala couture gown. The Las Vegas showgirl tradition refracted through the lens of a K-pop performance aesthetic. These are not translations. They are expansions. And the culture is the better for them. 9. What this moment means for her fans. There is a community that has been watching all of this unfold for a very long time. They are called Blinks, the official fan base of Blackpink and, by extension, of each of its members in their individual capacities. And for the millions of Blinks who have followed Lisa specifically, the last year or so has felt like watching something they always believed was possible become undeniable. They were there for Lalisa. They were there for money. They were there for the Alter Ego album, for the White Lotus debut, for the Coachella performance. They have been the consistent, passionate audience for a decade of work that has now arrived at a Vanity Fair cover and a Las Vegas residency. For international fans, in Thailand, across Southeast Asia, across Europe, across the Americas, the significance of a Thai artist from Buriram appearing on the cover of American prestige media's most storied magazine carries a particular weight. It is the kind of moment that is difficult to articulate in purely analytical terms, because it operates on a register that goes beyond career milestones and cultural analysis. It is the feeling of recognizing someone like you in a space that has not historically made room for someone like you. Lisa, for her part, has spoken about her awareness of that responsibility, of carrying something larger than herself while remaining, at her core, the person she has always been. The Vanity Fair image says everything: the desert light, the showgirl wings, the towering headpiece, and beneath all of it, the stillness and clarity of someone who knows exactly who she is. Deset. The future belongs to her. It began, as these stories so often do, with a child who could not stop moving. Dancing at 4 years old in Buriram. Auditioning in Seoul at 13. Preparing for years in a practice room, alone with a mirror and a relentless standard she had set for herself. And then, slowly, the world catching up to what she had always known she was capable of. The Lisa Blackpink 2026 story is, at its heart, a story about the long game. About what happens when extraordinary talent is paired with extraordinary patience. When the work is done year after year, the craft is deepened, and the moment, when it comes, is recognized for what it is. A Vanity Fair cover. A Las Vegas residency that sold out in 10 minutes. A sophomore album taking shape in the recording studio. A film career with a Netflix action thriller on the horizon. A documentary in production. And at the center of it all, an artist who told the world with complete simplicity, "It's just me, plus a little more confidence." That confidence is real. It is earned. And judging by everything that has happened and everything that is coming, the world is only beginning to understand the full scale of what she is capable of. November. The Colosseum. 4 nights. Viva La Lisa. If you have a favorite Lisa moment, from Lalisa to the Met Gala to the alter ego era, drop it in the comments. The conversation happening down there has been incredible, and we read every single one. And if you want to keep going deep on the artists, the moments, and the cultural shifts that are defining this decade in entertainment, subscribe. There is a great deal more where this came from.